you so much for coming for this special meeting so we can deal with this request at an expedited basis. I know that you all are anxious to get going on this. I guess roll call?
Mr. Owens is absent. Mrs. Hartshorn?
Here.
Mr. Weaver?
Here.
Mrs. White?
Here.
Mr. Geezer?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, and the only item of business today is the certificate of appropriateness for this sign for Davenport, and can you tell us briefly about it? I think we have the information.
Yeah, it is a carved HDU sign, traditional for this area on what we do. It will have 3 colors for black as the border, a white lower section to it, green and gray. It is exactly 4 square feet.
I noticed that.
Yeah. It'll be on a steel pole with a custom wrought iron frame, and it's gonna look nice.
All right. Does anyone have any questions?
I was gonna comment that it needs to, you are gonna set it back far enough that it won't overhang the sidewalk, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Is the post already there?
No. Of course, in that case, we always call Miss Utility and have them check it, and then, yeah.
Okay, does anyone like to make a motion to grant the certificate of appropriateness?
I move we approve it as presented.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Sure.
It's been moved and seconded. All those, well, I guess we have to do a roll call.
Mrs. Hartshorn?
Aye.
Mr. Weaver?
Aye.
Mrs. White?
Aye.
Mr. Geezer?
Aye.
Ryan, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas,
You
Happy
too,
New
buddy.
Year, guys.
Good.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, well, are there any other matters we need to take up?
I will mention briefly, one, Mrs. White was gracious enough to send the preservation plans that were started in 2014. If I didn't circulate that to you all, I will do that tomorrow. I've got a lot going on, so I can't remember what emails I send and what I don't.
I don't think we got that. I think we got the
The inventory,
The inventory.
The inventory.
did you get the inventory? Great.
I'm not even sure I got that.
It came out right after,
Right after our meeting.
Yeah, right
I'm
after
too-
the-
too-
I'm
too
confident I
sorry
didn't
about
get it.
If you didn't get it,
If
I'll-
you're
I'll-
sending it to the Abingdon email address that I
Yeah.
have,
that. You don't use that?
the only thing that ever shows up there are some advertisements from Google.
Okay. I'll send it to your personal email and your Abingdon email address.
Okay.
That way you get it twice. Also on this particular, sign, I spoke with, Nikki, Combs, who, filled out the application. You can see the hedges in front of the building there are extremely tall, kind of blocking out the view of the actual structure itself. The guidelines talk about how that's something that we don't want to see. And she was wanting to know if they could trim those back or possibly remove some of those hedges. And I told her that I knew she wouldn't be here, but I told her that I would ask.
Well, we can all ride by and look at it and see that. In fact, in the preservation plan notes that you'll get, we actually brought this up. These notes are from 2014, and they are 2 meetings. The first meeting was the preliminary meeting, and Byron was part of it. I think Mike had gone off the board, but he came back to start participating in it, but I don't think that we had started that phase of it. We did the preliminary. But the first set of notes gives you the whole background to the first preservation plan that we did years ago, like '98. And it gives the history of that. And then it gives the priorities of what we're looking at now. And the second meeting starts talking about the general goals of what we would like to do. Now, this was 2014, but one of them talked about landscaping, talked about the fact that we have always had sort of a vague grasp on our overview of landscaping.
What's your recommendation? Do you think we need to make a subcommittee and look at this, or how are we gonna go forward with this?
The last time I remember looking into this, it seems like the town code allows us to act with regard to structures, and then it defines what structures are. And so I don't think landscaping met that definition. So unless something's changed, I was always of the impression that anything we did with regard to landscaping was just advisory and not mandatory. But I haven't looked at that in a long time. I know that town code has been revised fairly recently, and so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the current state of the code is with regard to, you know, how limited our jurisdiction is. Is that
Yeah,
consistent with
I
your?
think that's my memory of it too, and it also, I think we put in the new Secretary of Interior's guidelines for it, but the bottom line for landscaping is exactly what Jason was just saying, is not to, first of all, not to harm the structure. If something is planted too close and the roots are going to undermine the foundation, or it's gonna scrape against the siding of it or something like that and damage it, it definitely becomes part of what we should do. And then secondarily, if it is blocking the view of the historic structure, that's not quite as clear, but that's the second issue of it. I mean, the obvious thing that this board shouldn't drift into is the aesthetics of whether we like boxwood over here or boxwood over there or something like that. I mean,
But
we have to.
those are really overgrown and probably at the end of their natural life, I would think.
They're huge. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a short guy, but they're 3 foot over
I mean,
my
you can
head.
tell they're almost to the second story of that.
Well, boxwood has a very, very long life,
Yeah.
so, I mean, it would just be a matter of, I mean, you could look up, you could probably Google the Secretary of Interior's, and I think there is something new, because this is not an issue that is, common to just us. I mean, all towns have this with
Right.
regard to the landscape.
But when it's coming out and blocking their pathway, I think that just goes to the owner of the property, I guess. If you have a business and you can't get to the front door because the bushes are so big, you'd think I mean,
It
that's-
sounds like she wants that, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
she was.
wants the privacy?
No, she
No,
wants,
no,
she
she
wants
wants
to be able
to
to
cut-
remove
yeah.
them.
Yeah, she wants to be able to remove them with the property owner's consent, obviously, and the board's advice. I told her, obviously, you could prune them back. As far as removing them though, like we're talking now, I'm not real sure how much.
Looks like
coverage
they've
we
been
have.
butchered already.
It looks like that, yes, I'm saying, if you shave those down to 3 or 4 feet tall, you're just gonna have all that dead stuff at the bottom. It's not gonna look good.
Well, another thing that this board, we have always done traditionally, is to be fine with bringing in consultants
Yeah.
when needed. And, it could be that a landscape architect is in order for something like this. She doesn't wanna do this immediately, does she?
No, I think just where they've started the new business there, they wanted to try to have as much exposure off of the
Yeah.
mountain as they could.
But I'll be glad to take a look at the jurisdiction issues and sort of see what I can figure out, and then maybe we can address it at the next meeting.
That'd be
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, I don't have a problem with them shaping them up nicely at all. I mean, I think you wanna see the pretty buildings.
Yeah, I don't think that was really the question. Obviously they can prune them, but the removal part is
Boxwoods
what I
don't
have
prune
an
very
issue
well.
with.
Yeah,
I like it.
they're slow
I
growers.
walk through there a lot, and I like the smell of them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Most people don't, but,
but they do need to be maintained.
yeah. I think once the boxwood gets overgrown, all you can really do is replace it,
Start
because
over.
they don't prune well. I mean, they prune okay if you're maintaining it
Making
over
it
time,
hedge.
but once they get that large and overgrown, and somebody hacks the side out of them like that entrance,
Yeah.
you can't you never can get that back.
Well, I don't think they're all boxwoods. What's that dead thing in the middle?
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
We'll ride by and look. just about next door.
Yeah, it's literally 2 buildings
Field
over.
trip.
Yeah.
Oh, I apologize.
But that's all I had.
Okay. Is there any
Well,
other?
Yeah, I guess
business?
my question was that once we read the stuff that that gave to you to send, are we going to act on that at all? Or is that just for our general information? Because I think one of the goals was maybe to look at the boundaries of the historic district or make some.
Well, I think yes, that's
So
right, that was.
what do you want us to do?
that was
I
the-
think that the board at any time has the ability to amend the guidelines. And I can double check with the town attorney, but I think you have that authority at any time. So if it's something that you want to add or something that needs to be taken away, or if it's something that you can just want to disregard with a 4-1 or 5-0 vote, you can do that. So.
Well, I'm just wondering if maybe we should take time to read these and at our next meeting have a workshop or something where we can see if there's any.
Well, that is the
actual-
way to proceed, is to probably create a committee that is some of us or all of us and others. I mean, because what this is talking about is a preservation plan. And within that could be some amendments to the guidelines, but it's, it's bigger than that.
So, if you can remind me, so was our goal was to develop a preservation plan?
Yeah. And one of them was to create a new preservation plan. Ours is old. And one of the goals under it that you'll read is to expand the district. We've talked about expanding it up to the business district and the 300 block of Main.
Do you recall what the other goals were?
No. If I sit here for a minute, I can think about it, but it's easy reading. I mean, it's nothing but a couple of pages.
When you wrote when you
Something.
were on this committee, was the farmer's market in place already or some?
I think so, yeah.
It was, so it's been, okay. I
Because
was
we
wondering.
approved that a long time
So,
ago.
but that's part of the historic district. You got that in there?
It is, the farmer's market.
Yeah, because we had to
Most
approve
of the
that
farmer's
design.
market. The building itself is, not all the parcel, but most of it.
Oh, yeah, they brought the rooster in for us to look at.
Yeah.
On the weather vane, I remember
Uh-huh.
that.
Harry McKinney designed that, I think.
Right.
Yeah. And Bill Gable did that rooster.
Well, maybe we could all take a look at,
That's what I'm thinking.
what you're going to send us in terms of what we have, and then be prepared to sort of talk about taking action on it at the January meeting, or?
Everybody could just bring any notes they had regarding, we could stay after a few minutes and just see where we wanna go
I
from
mean,
there.
it's just a good place to start thought
Right.
processes, because it gives you the background of where we were.
Right.
Right.
And I just don't want this to fall away, like, if we make a plan that we're gonna get them and read them and bring our ideas or just our opinions to the next meeting, at least we're going forward with it in 2021, and not just shelving it somewhere.
Yeah.
if it won't
And Mike
forget
will be
about it.
interested in it, because he wanted to
Yeah.
be on that committee.
Right.
So we've got a good group right this minute
Right.
to work on it. I'm certainly willing to work on it.
Yeah, me too, I'm
Me too.
excited about it.
Okay, well, good. Sounds like we're in a good place to do that.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so let's just, make sure we don't drop the ball.
Right.
Okay.
Kind of work on it, so, I mean, I suggest that we just all read it thoroughly over Christmas.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get it to you, so that when we got this time when everybody has to be in anyway, just to read it and start thinking and writing notes in the margins and things like that.
Okay.
You might wanna check your email from Mike. I mean, I think this is a couple times and that's not like him. He normally would get, I wonder if have you heard from him on this email address before?
I've never had any issues with Mike responding to me
Oh,
other
okay.
than this particular meeting. He's normally very responsive,
Oh, okay.
so I'm not sure
I
what
know
happened.
I know a few years ago he changed his email address a couple times, but.
Well, him being a council, he has also a town email address that we send everything to, so I'm not sure what happened. Did you try to contact him, Janice, by phone? Mr. Owens, did you try to contact him by phone? Okay. Yeah, he typically either responds by email or he'll call,
Right.
but
Well, is there a motion to adjourn?
Also,
The second?
Sure.
I guess we have to do a roll call for that too?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mrs. Hartshorn?
Aye.
Mr. Weaver?
All right.
Mrs. White?
All right.
Mr. Geisler?